Hey!
Hello.
Hi! How are you all doing? Hope you're having a good Friday. Or whatever day it is when you're watching this. It should go up on a Friday, but it doesn't mean you have to watch it on Friday.
It'll be Saturday because today's Saturday. That's when they'll watch it.
Okay, yeah. Rosa could be seen in the parlor. The relatives apparently all wanted to be alone after dispersing for a short break. Since everyone... Oh, okay, so maybe that explains what happened if we're trying to reconcile them as all happening together somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Since everyone avoided the parlor, the one place where people would normally gather, Rosa was able to have this relaxing and comforting room all to herself. That didn't mean she looked relaxed. Her expression was heavy with gloom and weariness. The cup of black tea that she had brought from the dining hall had gone cold. A pleasant silence. Now that no one was in sight, Rosa's heart finally awoke. She was always treated like a kid in the conferences with her 3 siblings. She had no influence at all, but possibly because of that, she was apparently considered to be a neutral party. The siblings would often ask her for her agreement, sometimes even treating her like a referee or a judge.
I have to make use of that and turn the discussion in the direction I want. I have to find almost 100 million yen by March. That was supposed to be my great commitment. A burden I bore to help support that man's business. Now, I'm not sure anymore. If I can pay off my debt, will he call me again? Don't make me laugh. Even if you do contact me after all this time, I'll be the one to refuse. But still, you're Maria's father. Please come and see her, if only just once.
So she's in debt to Maria's father. Okay.
Who's talking here? Huh? Who?
Though no one should have been in the parlor, someone suddenly spoke to Rosa, and she jumped. Hello. Sorry, I was mumbling there for a bit. Just when did he get there? Kanone could be seen standing there. Even considering that she had been deep in thought, to think that she hadn't noticed him at all.
You startled me. Sorry, I guess I was thinking so hard that I didn't notice you. Do you need something?
No, the reason you are currently in pain is because of love, Rosa-sama. Am I wrong?
That's sudden. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Maria-sama's father wanted you to be the co-signer on a loan, and you accepted, Rosa-sama.
What a troublesome kid. You were listening to Kraus-Nissan from the hallway, weren't you?
True. Earlier this day, in this very room, Kraus had seen through to the fact that Rosa was bearing a massive debt because she had become a co-signer on a loan. However, he hadn't said that her partner had been Maria's father. Also, Jessica hadn't come from the guest house, so did they ever actually go over there?
Hadn't come from the guest house? How do you mean?
Remember, because Kyrie mentioned that,
if she was going to get a book.
Oh, right.
We were told that Jessica had in fact come from the guest house and just wandered the house randomly.
Got it. Yes, got it. Okay. Why did Kanone know so much? You are a very wise person, Rosa-sama. You wouldn't have become a co-signer without thinking carefully about the consequences.
I hadn't yet moved to his family register, but I thought of the man I would soon marry as my partner. If he couldn't borrow the money without my name, I figured that helping him out was my responsibility as his future wife.
And did that future ever come?
No, it hadn't.
So afterwards, Rosa was always alone, and Maria never had a father. However, time moved on. Nothing changed except that Maria, who should have been a symbol of their union, just kept growing like a living hourglass, measuring the length of the hell Rosa had crawled through. Because of that, Maria's growth hurt. Oh.
It's ironic. I tried to forget that man several times, but, you know, forgetting him doesn't get rid of that debt.
It was only natural. That's why she had to forget her love and do all she could to pay that money back.
But you know, I also think of it this way. If I can manage to pay everything off, it'll mean that I've passed the trial of love that he gave me. I'll have to pay off my debt anyway, so how can I abandon my reward, the love I'll gain as a result, before it's over? Is it really so wrong to put off thinking about that until after I've paid my debts?
It may have been a trick of words that only those who have suffered through love could understand. Even Rosa was vaguely aware of the possibility that she'd been deceived. However, if she was able to succeed in paying back the loan, he might acknowledge her usefulness as a wife. When that happened, she might be able to regain that love. And if she abandoned that love, this debt, this trial that he had given her, would become completely meaningless. Yes, for her, the debt itself appeared to be a trial of love. Actually, the very fact that she tried to view it that way might have been the blindness of love, proof that she was still bound by her regrets and obsessed with the past. That pain still continued within her. At the very least, it would remain until she paid back that massive loan, and even then it would take quite some time before she'd be able to lay her feelings for him to rest.
Could this be that hell that Kirie-sama spoke of?
I see. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but there's no doubt that my world has been hell through and through.
And how can that be put to an end?
Who knows? If anyone did, no one would ever be crushed by the disease of love.
That disease is a serious one. It sometimes eats into a person for their entire life, spreading to and hurting the people closest to them. That disease was torturing her now as much as it ever had. Rosa.
Well, since you bring up Kirie-san, her story is like a wish or a dream to me.
Though she had her man stolen from her, she persevered for 18 years. She never fell into despair, and instead continued to support Rudolph, keeping her head down and waiting for a miracle.
Maria is still 9 years old. I've only waited as long as the first half of Kirie's 18 years. If I gave up after just this, she would laugh at me.
Do you think a miracle will occur within 9 years?
If I doubt that, it's all over. In a sense, I'm a ghost. I'm already dead. I'm just living on without noticing.
A ghost waiting...
Oh, I think that's still her.
A ghost waiting for eternity for a person who will never come. That's right. That day when I naively said that I wanted to support his dream, I was probably already dead. I guess that really was a regretful day in the end. I have dreams. I want to go overseas. I'll fly out of this tiny country, make it big, and come back to you. That takes me back. At that time, I thought of lovers as a pair of people willing to acknowledge each other's radical dreams. That's why he would always happily cheer me up by talking about how I'd become a successful designer, traveling to Paris to release a new line, and getting jostled by the press.
Okay, objection. You've never once been to Paris in your life. You cannot pronounce it as Paris. Plus, once you go there, you're Japanese. Once you go there, it'll probably be less interesting than you think it is. And
Let
then
me have this, you little shit.
You'll get all melancholy about it, about how it never lived up to your expectations for Paris. I have been, so I can say it as Paris.
People know about Paris syndrome, right? Right? That's a thing people know about.
When I think about it, I really had my head in the clouds during that strange time. We both lifted the other up as though we were drifting about in the air. So, when he said that he wanted to get out of Japan, I applauded him and promised to support him. Acknowledging each other's great dreams with nothing but words is a classic sort of pillow talk between lovers. However, when it comes to actually carrying them out, you need to be more serious and calculating. For a long time, I felt proud of letting him go on that day. No, I still do.
But you still regret it.
That's right. If I had sobbed and told him to stop on that day, I might not have fallen into hell. Seeing him off with a smile was my victory? Of course not. It's as though I lost by default by refusing to fight when the time came. I only glorified that loss, saw him off with a smile as he went to take on the world overseas, and became intoxicated with the illusion that I was some brave woman waiting patiently for her man's return with her daughter. Even though I didn't get a single call from him, and mail sent to the address he'd given me came back forwarding address unknown. This is hell. In this hell, I'll regret not fighting when I should have until the day I die. I've even dragged my daughter into it. I wish someone would just kill me. I want to be told that I've already been killed, that I'm a ghost.
In love, if you do not fight, you have to crawl through hell.
Yes, love is a fight. Will you win and gain, or lose and die? But please, have no fear of death. After all, it's a peaceful sleep. What's truly terrifying is the hell where you find the unsleeping ghosts of those who couldn't win, yet couldn't die. That hell has no end. The battle of love is cruelest for those who never even fought, but weren't able to die either. So in love, you've got to make it or break it? Dying in battle like that is liberating. They say the most torturous toxin for humans is made from love grown stale. The suffering it brings exceeds the tortures of the most twisted hells.
She used this knowledge to try to embolden her double and her little sister, encouraging her to take on any trial no matter how fierce.
I understand.
After all, when my desire to have battlers on accept me one day wells up in my chest, I can feel the seed that resides there.
It is up to me to kill that seed or make it bud. However, if I let it rot here in my chest, that poison will surely torment me forever.
And
that is the most fearsome torture in the world, even for us 1,000-year-old witches. See what happens to those who make light of love. This hell of Rosa's is what happens to those who do not possess the courage to make the seed of love bud, and instead allow it to rot. One cannot end that pain by their own hands.
But, could you ferment it? Maybe get some alcohol out of it?
Huh? Just now, was that a red light?
Pardon me.
Huh? What? Just now, I thought I saw something strange. I wonder if I'm tired. It's probably just my imagination.
Rosa picked up her cup of cold tea. When she did, she saw a small red rose petal float to the surface.
A rose?
I have heard that, in your youth, you loved to lie on that sofa.
Are you calling me a liar?
Yes. That's the takeaway here. It wasn't a rose petal. It was a drop of blood that had fallen from Rosa's eyes. In an instant, Kanone had beautifully and precisely cut just a single thread of Rosa's life. There was no wound on Rosa's body. However, several drops of blood dripped down from her eyes. Her pain, her uncertainties, and her worries were all gone now. Slowly, she fell down onto her side on the sofa. This had been one of the happiest things she had done during the happiest day of her life.
Sleep well, Rosa-sama. Your hell has ended.
Kanone took a blanket out of a cupboard and gently covered Rosa with it. To anyone, it would have looked just as though Rosa was sleeping peacefully. Those demons had not exaggerated when calling this trial a battle of love. It was at least accurate on this cruel but unassailable fact, that those who have their love shattered meet with death.
Now, my part is complete. Did you see that, demons? Also, see how that took me 5 minutes tops? I'm not saying the rest of you took for fucking ever doing yours, but you did all these weird anime fight bullshit. You just walk up, you do it, and then you leave.
Well, gee, you get to have a cool fucking laser sword. What the hell was I supposed to do?
Oh, fuck. Fuck! I shouldn't have opened my mouth. You dare to kill my mama? You dare to kill my mama? One of the two great witches of Mariage Sorcière, Maria. Though she was just an apprentice, the power sleeping within her had impressed even Beatrice at the height of her strength. In Maria's eyes, though Rosa may have been the Black Witch, she was also the vessel of the mother she couldn't help but love. Her anger at having that stolen from her was near madness. You dared, Mama! 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 Yeah! Maria's attack was too emotional. Because of this, she didn't notice that Kanone had vanished for several heartbeats, and she released her barrage at what had become empty space. In the meantime, Kanone jumped from wall to wall around to Maria's back. I don't want to kill past my quota, but I'll clean up the messes I have made.
Punch clock murderer.
It's interesting that he mentions a quota, though.
Yeah.
What the hell are you? When did we stop putting furries in this fucking game?
Oh, diplomatic immunity. I won't let you talk at Mario or me.
Fuck your diplomatic immunity. Oh, well, I guess not. Damn. The red curved blade extending from Kanone's hand vanished in an instant. He tried hard to make it reappear, but when he attempted to use it on Maria and Sakutaro again, it vanished once more. Because of Sakutaro's power, he was unable to make either of them the target of his attacks. There you are. How long have you been there?
I won't let anyone bully Maria.
Damn it! Maria finally noticed where Kanone was, and she slowly turned around. Kanone made his sword materialize yet again. Oh, fuck! But no matter how often he tried, it kept fading out like a flashlight with a bad battery. I won't let you get away now. I won't forgive you for the sin of stealing my mama away. I'll kill you. Just like Mama killed all of them, I'll kill you without mercy. What? Are you talking about...
the fuck?
Is she talking about the Chesters?
Oh, maybe. That makes sense.
As Maria howled, the entire parlor was surrounded by a cube of red magic barriers. It was a closed room, symbolizing a barrier that Kanone could never escape.
Damn it! Not here!
Kanone cursed his bad luck. Even though he had fulfilled his goal in the demon's trial, if he was killed here, he'd be dragged off to the game board. Maria, don't overdo it.
Yeah, I won't overdo it. I'll be a little more gentle than Mama was. Yeah.
The fucking airplane sound of that stuff coming into existence before it suddenly, like, hits a bunch of times over and over.
Oh, yeah.
That audio effect is so fucking good.
Oh, yeah.
I fucking love that. Oh, who is it?
Pardon me, Maria-sama. In accordance with the contract with Zeppar-sama and Furfur-sama, I come for your life.
Shannon, don't get in my way!
Oh, spoiler, Shannon. I won't let anyone target Maria.
Yes, I don't intend to target her in any way. I will simply protect myself.
A cylindrical red magical barrier surrounded Shannon as she stood in the center of the parlor. She made its brightness and thickness grow, and its radius suddenly expanded, filling up the room. It wasn't targeting Maria. This power was being wielded to protect Shannon's body, so Sakutaro's power didn't make it disappear.
Nason.
Would you let your feelings for Milady collapse in a situation like this? Get a hold of yourself.
Oh! By now, the shield with Shannon at the center had covered up the entire room, Its power crushed Maria and Sakutaro into the corner. Ironically, they were perfectly wedged between Shannon's barrier and the closed room barrier Maria had set up to prevent Cannon from escaping. No good. Oh, I can't escape.
I see. It's a closed room. This might just be perfect for that wannabe detective who's trying to deny Beato's magic.
Checkmate, Maria-sama. Is that acceptable?
Yeah, it's fine. Crush me. More weight.
Then here it comes.
The entire room was filled with the red light of the shield, and the output and pressure were raised to their limits. Then, crushed between the shield and their own closed room barrier, Maria and Sakutaro lost their forms, scattered into a golden splash, and disappeared.
Thank you. I couldn't afford to disappear here.
If you lost in a place like this, you wouldn't be able to let it go.
Yeah, I wouldn't give up if I lost in a place like this.
Zephar-sama, Furfur-sama, we've both finished our trials. Is that satisfactory? Yeah, truly splendid. No complaints for either of you. Then, shall we finish with Beatrice's turn? Oh, where did she go? To the victim she's chosen, of course. Then let's go there as well.
Right after this message from our sponsors. Today's Murder Fest is sponsored by La Colombe Coffee, draft latte made with oat milk, original flavor. It's acceptable. That is the La Colombe Coffee draft latte made with oat milk original guarantee.
Damn, we killing all the moms this time?
Jesus. Everyone who's burned by love. Everyone who's burned by love. Natsuhi could be seen in her personal room. Kraus had told her to go to bed, but she couldn't afford to lie around sleeping on an important day like this. However, she realized that she was the type to get excited easily, and that this sometimes held her husband back. So, though she didn't like it one bit, there was no way around it. It was probably close to the time for the break to end, and the family conference would begin once again in the dining hall. Her husband would have to protect the Ushiromiya family honor from those greedy siblings all by himself. If she grew emotional by his side, she would just tie him down, though she knew that quietly waiting here was the best way she could support him. That didn't make the waiting any easier. Natsuhi pulled a small treasure box out of a drawer. This was her secret box. Inside was everything from valuable items to mere rubbish. However, they were all precious, memorable treasures in Natsuhi's eyes. Pulled a small pouch out of the box. The mirror pouch! She stuck her hand inside it. It was a kind of charm that her own family had given her when she had married. A spirit mirror to ward off evil.
A what?
A spearer. Thank you. Thank you. I can't believe I left that one on the table. Her own face was reflected in it. Youth doesn't last forever. Recently, she'd seen a bit of her parents and her grandparents in her own face. So by staring at her reflection in the mirror like this, she felt as though her soul had returned to the family she'd been born into.
Dad, Mom, I've always been so ignorant and unable to support my husband.
Of course, her face in the mirror did not answer. However, Natsuhi continued.
I wait here alone because I love my husband. However, I think love means being close to one another. Though I understand logically that staying here is the best way I can help him, I still feel wretched for doing it. It's tough, isn't it? Waiting for the sake of love.
With a plop, a tear fell onto the mirror. Old, dear memories of her life at her parents' house rose up inside her. Now was the time for her to follow her parents' example. When her father came home late, her mother would always sit up straight waiting for him, prepared for him to arrive at any moment. She would always wait for him kneeling in the entrance hall. And no matter how late he came home, she would always wake up all the children and line them up to greet him. At the time, I only thought of her as being oh, this is Natsuhi now.
At the time, I only thought of her as being exceptionally strict, but at this age, I finally understand how strong she was, persevering in her love for her beloved husband even after being left in charge of the house while he was out. Because of your love for your husband, you couldn't bear to be made to care for an unfamiliar child. Huh?
The sudden voice made Natsuhi jump up and look around the room. When she did, there was a Western lady wrapped in an extravagant dress.
Who are you?
Natsuhi was confused. There was no one like this in the mansion. However, though this was her first time seeing this person, it felt as though she had seen her somewhere else. Her mind had gone blank with anger at the ruffian who had snuck into her private room and confusion over the appearance of someone she didn't know. So it took quite some time before she realized that this was the witch of the portrait. Okay, so that must mean that So, Natsuhi's absolutely dead because the person relaying this scene doesn't know that Natsuhi would never fail to recognize the person that she spends all of her time talking to.
If we're to believe that Chapter 5, which is a forgery, is the interpretation
yeah,
to go
that's
with.
true. That's true. I don't know what to make of the historical stuff now.
Yeah. Though you murdered a baby you didn't know on that day 19 years ago, I will not hold that sin against you. What are you talking about?
Beato had chosen Natsuhi as her sacrifice. She was Battler's enemy.
What?
Why is Natsuhi? Beato didn't know much about the details of Battler's birth. However, she knew about the fragment from the previous game, and knew there was a chance that Battler was the baby that Natsuhi had pushed off a cliff 19 years ago. Ah! Okay. This stuff. Battler had used this blue wedge to protect Natsuhi from certain false charges, but he took it as a confession by Battler himself that from Beato's position, Natsuhi was an enemy who probably forced Battler to live a painful life.
You killed that baby who lacked your husband's blood for the sake of your love for your husband. They need to do way and stain mother who killed their babby because that babby can't frig back. So, also for the sake of love, I will not hold it against you.
I must be imagining demons, because I could have sworn you were just speaking in tongues. What the fuck was any of that?
It was on the news this morning.
Sounds like you're having a stroke. Are you alright?
Fuck, I don't remember the rest of the copy pasta.
Oh, it's a copy. Okay, that makes more sense now. Okay. Alright, I can...
It's from fucking How Is Babby Formed.
Oh! I know nothing about how is Babby formed other than how is Babby formed.
I don't have a clue what you're talking about. Get out. This is my room. Therefore, please do not hold it against me when I kill you for the sake of my love.
Beato slowly stuck out her arms and made as if to grab something in empty space. That grab bound itself around Natsuhi's neck.
Whoa, Beato's got force choke.
Oh, yo. Natsuhi's heels lifted up and a faint purple shape appeared around her neck. Natsuhi frantically scratched at her neck, trying to stop whatever was strangling her, but there was nothing there. So to an outsider, it looked just as though Natsuhi was standing on her toes in anguish, scratching at her own neck.
Both pairs of lovers have shown their determination. I do not think that my love for Battler-san is inferior to theirs. Just as I will not blame you for your sin of 19 years ago, I will not blame myself for this sin.
As Natsuhi twisted in agony, something she had been grasping fell from her grip. Since it had fallen by her feet, Beato dropped her gaze to see what it was. It was Natsuhi's spirit mirror. Spearer, if you will. When she peered into it, there was a sound like a burst of electricity. That sound released Natsuhi from the invisible hands and made Beato topple backwards like a doll. Coughing, Natsuhi tried to comprehend what was going on around her. Beato rolled over and, dizzy as though she had just bumped her head, she had slowly tried to stand up. Her eyes were bewildered as though even she didn't really understand what had happened.
What is this? That is surprising. You could touch spider webs without trouble, but you can't handle the spirit mirror?
The what?
The spearer. Even I don't have a clue what's happening. What in the world?
She had thought that only Beato the Elder possessed non-human weak points such as getting burned by spiderwebs and wards and having her powers sealed by spirit mirrors. However, for some reason, this spirit mirror alone could apparently affect Beato as well. Even Beato couldn't understand what about the spirit mirror had such an overpowering effect on her. But Natsuhi was different. But Natsuhi was built different. She instantly realized that the reason for the hesitation of this unearthly being, this witch of the portrait, must be the power of the mirror. So she rapidly crawled across the floor and picked it up. Then she stuck it out so that Beato could see it. Beato still didn't know what was happening, so still sitting down, she looked straight at it. And this time, both of them understood the situation completely. Beato realized that the mirror was working some hateful power against her, and Natsuhi realized that the spirit mirror had the power to repel witches.
Why is the mirror? It's because you're an evil witch. This miraculous spirit mirror repels all creatures of evil. Don't point it at me.
With the spirit mirror still held out, Natsuhi cautiously closed the gap between them. She was cautious so as to prevent the other from suddenly lashing out and stealing the mirror, but she steadily moved to corner this evil.
I do not know who you are. All I know is that you tried to kill me. And I know that you are a creature of evil, fearful of this spirit mirror. Spira, if you will. Be gone, evil one.
Beato didn't understand what was happening herself. She didn't know why she had to fear this spirit mirror, or spearer. However, when she tried to look at the bright light let off by the spirit mirror, or spearer, it pierced her eyes. A lot of eye stuff in this one.
Yeah?
Though she didn't understand why she must be afraid, she did understand that she must be afraid. By now, Beato realized that the spirit mirror, not gonna do it, was both terrifying and harmful. As it came closer to her, she felt an increasingly strong and painful burning sensation over her whole body, as though someone was approaching her with a hot iron. She couldn't even open her eyes because of the mirror's bright, painful glint. This
is really relatable because that's how I feel when I look at a mirror.
Yeah, definitely.
Go, return to the world from whence you came, evil one. I, Ushiromiya Natsuhi, do not fear evil in the least.
It's no use. Take this! Why? Why is this musty mirror so?
If I lose here, I'll be the only one to fail this trial. Just like George-san and Shannon-san and Jessica-san and Cannon-san, I also want Battler-san to acknowledge me and treasure me. And even though I've finally managed to be honest with myself in a place like this, I alone will be. Are you giving up? Only you? Believe a miracle of love will surely occur. I love Battler-san. I want him to notice me. And I want him to acknowledge and accept my feelings. If my reason for calling him father and dedicating myself to him was out of duty towards a parent of mine, I would have been satisfied with no reward. That was a deception I used to fool myself. I love Battler-san, and I want him to acknowledge it. I accept it. I won't turn away any longer. I was born because I love Battler-san, and I want him to love me back.
Yo, hello. Oh, I'm gone.
And so, I cannot lose here. Be gone, evil one. Get behind me, Satan. There is no place for you here.
Her determination had come too late. If she had had it from the start, she probably would have managed to finish Natsuhi off right then without any fear. Because she had wavered, it had taken time to kill Natsuhi, and things had ended up like this.
But now, I am resolved. I want to love Battler-san. I want him to love me. And so, I cannot lose here. After all, I was born for Battler-san's sake. Yes, that is what we wanted to hear.
Just after a sound like a beetle banging off all the walls filled the room, the spirit mirror was knocked out of Natsuhi's outstretched hand. Really? Dream End discharge her for this one? Hell yeah.
I mean, it is a Beato song, right?
It is, yeah. This is like her triumphal song when she's dying, but also this one. It fell to the floor, and the stake flying around the room pierced through it with a crash. Lucifer of Pride, right here! You dare mock me by choosing a single old mirror to be my first target in so long?
Huh? Lucifer-san?
Beatrice-sama, you must complete your trial. She's getting away.
Someone, help me! Someone!
Now that the spear, her last ray of hope, had been smashed, and the number of strange demons had increased, Natsuhi could do nothing but run for it. However, if she made a scene and people gathered, the anti-magic toxin would burn Beato. Now was her last chance.
Thank you, Lucifer-san. Prepare yourself, Ushiromiya Natsuhi.
Once again, Beato choked the thin air. This time she wouldn't let her escape. She had to end Natsuhi's pain right away before it got too drawn out. But her power wasn't enough. Though Natsuhi scratched at her neck, she also struggled to escape from the room, her shaking hand stretched out to the lock on the door. A closed room is one of the concepts that allows a witch to be a witch. Just unlocking the door strengthened the anti-magic toxin a little. Since Beato was at her limit even within a closed room, if Natsuhi undid that lock, Beato's power would weaken immediately, and Natsuhi would surely escape into the hallway. Their strengths were matched. However, Natsuhi began to surpass Beato slightly. The power of the living to live is fundamentally stronger than the power of magic. Of course, Beato was mustering all her might. However, Natsuhi was just a little bit stronger.
That's enough. Lucifer, do it.
As you wish.
Lucifer transformed into a stake, and like the time she had smashed into Natsuhi's spearer, flew violently around the room. And then she struck Natsuhi's forehead. Natsuhi crumpled, slowly. When Beato saw this, she also fell to her knees, breathing hard.
Hey, Zephar, does this count? Beatrice didn't complete the trial by her own strength alone, right? That's right, Furfur. True, this trial must be accomplished without borrowing the help of any other. But maybe this is an exception?
A pair in love are as one.
This doesn't count as help from outside.
So she's in love with the stake?
And presumably somebody else said for the stake to go, right?
True.
Battler-san.
Oh, that was me. Right. Hello. Did you really have to scare me like that as soon as the first twilight? Jeez.
My apologies. Sorry I didn't listen to your instructions.
That's okay. I don't listen to my own instructions either. Instructions?
Well, I didn't stay in my room.
Beato hung her head apologetically. When he saw this, Battler scratched his head uncomfortably.
In that case, I should apologize too. I should have chosen my words more carefully.
No, you did nothing wrong. Battler-san.
It's okay. Call me whatever you like.
Huh?
Battler had always looked at the new Beatrice sternly. However, that was gone from his expression now.
True, the old you may have called me just Battler. At first I might have tried to force you to speak to me that way, but that would be pointless. You are Beato, but you are still you. You can call me whatever you want.
Battler-san.
Sure, that works great. Can't say being called father is really my thing.
Yes.
Earlier, she had hesitated just to say Battler's name at all. If Battler had told her to say his name without honorifics, she couldn't have done so right now. And even if she had, that might have hurt Battler even more. However, now she was allowed to call Battler by his name. You just had to look into her eyes to see how happy this made her.
Anyway, I heard from Zephar and Furfur. Seems a strange game has been started. What's going on?
Yes.
Can you deal me in?
Sorry for getting involved all on my own.
No problem. That reckless way you leap in before you understand is really like you. And, well, I've heard about the theme of this game. Apparently, you're supposed to play it in pairs. I wasn't told about this.
Yes, that is correct, Lord Battler.
Say it with capitals.
If you can succeed in winning through our trial, we will bless the pair of you and bestow a miracle of magic upon you.
Oh, it seems these guys have been giving their power to Beato's golden butterfly brooch. That means its effectiveness is guaranteed. Guaranteed. We've been stuck with each other for a long time now. Nothing wrong with playing this sort of game every now and then.
Battler-san. Oh, did you hear that, Furfur? It looks like Lord Battler is joining in as well.
Say it with the capitals.
That's no surprise. After all, we've known since the beginning.
Hello.
Welcome to our trial, Lord Battler.
Well, I guess I'm hanging out back here now. Hello.
So, who will your sacrifice be?
Before we get to that, could I get your pronouns?
No.
Oh, well, okay then. I was gonna be talking shit about you later, but I guess I guess I'll just have to use your name. I've already done my part. Go and check if you want.
Very well, Lord Battler. Come, Furfur, let's go check. Yes, let's. But, Zephar, this means that all 6 lovers have succeeded in their trials, right?
Convenient for the first twilight, if I do say so myself.
What should we do next? The resolve of all 6 is the real deal. Let us test them further in the next trial. Join us next time.
Is it Yahtzee? I hope it's Yahtzee. Snake Eyes.
The 2 noisy demons disappeared. They had apparently left to go check on the sacrifice Battler had killed. And so that Battler and Beato, who could finally look each other in the eye and talk, could have some alone time. What do you think of the tale so far? When suddenly asked this question, Angie immediately came to her senses. Then she realized that she had been immersed in Hashijo's tale. Felt a bit defeated and tried to look displeased.
You cleverly tried to distract us with this love trial stuff, but exactly 6 people have died, setting up the first twilight.
Yeah, exactly.
Impressive.
Oh, you're right. I hadn't realized. Amakusa clapped his hands as though he'd been outsmarted. Even though he figured it out before me, he played... Oh, shit. This is Angie. Right, this is future. Sorry, you get to narrate.
Even though he figured it out before me, he played the fool.
That's simply because the number of lovers just happened to be 6. The fact that it matched to the number of the first twilight was half coincidence, half design. It is a bit more interesting that way. It feels more like fate.
Humans have the bad habit of taking 2 meaningless phenomena and trying to link them together. Trying to make things seem like fate is a trick of books.
I guess you aren't a fan of Destiny and Miracles, lady.
It's like UFOs. Everyone knows about them, but no one's ever seen them.
Yeah, there's a cool metaphor.
So, normally I'd try to skip over all the love and illusions and call them unnecessary, useless scenes for the mystery, but Okanogi-san disagreed with that way of thinking. He thought that by looking at things without love that way, the truth could never be reached.
You mean President Okanogi's catchphrase? Without love, it cannot be seen? Yeah, TMCR.
Yeah, that. If I put aside my anger at the person who killed my family in a story, and even speak with respect for Madame Hachijo, the one who wrote this tale, then there must be a point to this depiction. After all, she's used up all these pages talking about love and trials. In other words, those are the themes and keywords of this tale.
Oh, and there are many who claim that all words not written in red ink are not worth reading. It is an honor, child of man, that you have read the black letters as well.
Well, you see, they actually show up as white with like a black shadow on them. But I get what you mean. I still get what you mean. Hey!
Stories are written because the writer has something they want to communicate. And some writers feel that it's unrefined to lay everything out too directly. All this about how you'll never reach the truth without love has shown up many times in the works before this one. This new work makes that even more striking. It means that is the one thing the writer wanted to tell the most, the thing that they want us to think about the most. When you think about it, there have been many scenes about love ever since Beato first appeared. Even the first time she appeared before Shannon, she spoke clearly about how love was the single element of the world. And the golden butterfly brooch she had given was also an item for love. She'd said that she enjoyed sowing seeds of love and watching complications arise, and when Shannon stopped borrowing her power, the reason for her argument was also love. After her interactions with Battler started up in full, scenes about love were toned down for a while, but the without love it cannot be seen definition of magic has been mentioned repeatedly. Then, in the tale right before this one, when Beato became like a doll, several scenes made it seem almost as though Battler and Beato had accepted each other as rivals, or possibly something more? JK, unless... In the end, Battler had regained some memory, and his impression of Beato had undergone a complete change.
What do you think? I think this one earned the slow burn tag.
And then, in this game, from the beginning until now, the word love has been repeated over and over again. The tale you wrote keeps talking about love. However, that's not Maria One-chan's viewpoint or Beatrice's viewpoint. It's Hachijo Toya's viewpoint.
That is correct. That is what I wanted to tell, and it is my own sort of answer.
Answer? Then all the crimes 12 years ago were a trial of love started by strange demons? Whoa!
Ridiculous.
If only I'd figured that out before.
I didn't come here to read a romance novel you wrote. What I want to know about is the truth you claim to have reached.
Foolish child of man. After reading all of this, do you still not understand? With an obviously condescending gaze, Hachijo shrugged. It was clear that she was trying to provoke Angie. She was probably hinting that Angie should just go home if she was annoyed. If you're going to read my noble work and not even attempt to see whether you understand it, then get out. Normally, Angie would already have thrown a fit and left. However, she couldn't do that. Though she didn't like someone else toying with her family's fates in a story, she was growing increasingly certain of something else as she read through it. Just as Hachijo's followers had said, this tale really does have the same presence, the same scent as the tales written by Beatrice. The author was certainly different. However, because it reached the real truth, it had the same scent. Angie was beginning to acknowledge this. Hachijo Toya was one who had reached Beatrice's truth, an endless witch like Beatrice who could add to the endlessly stretching parallel worlds of the cat box. If one had reached Beatrice's truth, they can create a new tale, whoever they are. With this new manuscript, I am sure someone besides myself will appear and reach the truth. Those people will be qualified to create new tales of their own.
Ryukishio 7 said, please write fanfic?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
So there will be more and more endless witches.
Yes, and these many endless witches will add to Beatrice's catbox tale. The more they add to it, the more people will reach the truth. When that happens, the very first endless witch, Beatrice, will finally be rewarded for writing such long letters, packing them in bottles, and throwing them into the sea. Why did she say that Beatrice threw them? Weren't they signed by Maria?
Yeah, they sure were.
So she's saying that they were penned, despite the fact that they were signed by Maria, they were penned by Beatrice.
So she claims.
You might have yelled at me angrily and risen from your seat. However, you did not. Why?
I hate to admit it, but I'm starting to think that your tale has some kind of truth or hint within it. I already have my own ideas, however, that's no more than looking with a single eye. Unless I accept a different viewpoint from my own and look at things from more than one angle, I'll never be able to see the truth in 3 dimensions. That's my interpretation of without love it cannot be seen.
Very well, child of man. Perhaps as the final survivor of the Ushiromiya family, it was fated that you would find the truth and become an endless witch. I exist only as a guidepost to awaken you as the true successor, Angie Beatrice.
Sometimes I don't understand what she's saying. However, she knows something. And maybe she actually has reached the truth as she claims. In other words, I didn't learn the truth even after reading the 2 message bottles Beatrice left behind. And I'm now reading tale after tale filled with hints. So, these hints are challenges, provoking me to think.
Indeed.
Perfect. I'll find this truth you say you reached. It's a good thing I came here.
That it is. I invited you here because you hadn't found it yet, child of man.
Let the truth I see and the truth you see overlap. Just as you see things with a single eye, so do I. Now that I've found you, I can finally see the truth with both eyes.
So the first Twilight has finally happened. Everything so far has made me so fucking sleepy.
Oh, you have some sleep in your eye.
Huh? What? Where? Mind your own business.
As you wish. Let's begin. First off, the first Twilight.
Hey.
What? You finally get to come back in the fucking game and you leave it off like that? Are you fucking kidding? There better be a second half to this episode. Come on, tell me I get to do something in this scene at least. Come on, anything? Pretty please with a pineapple on top. I just want to be in the game, Battler.
Erika was dozing off on her bed, so when a knock sounded on the door, it took some time before she noticed. She looked at the clock and saw that not much time had passed since she had lain down.
Yeah, who is it? Maybe you have a good reason for knocking on the detective's door in an hour like this. That's right. Got one thing to say before we begin this game.
Oh, the detective proclamation thing. Do as you wish.
No, I mean the opposite. I say we raise the stakes.
Raise the stakes?
No, don't worry. I already worked them into the game. Didn't you see them?
I am a little hungry.
They
I
were
could go for a
hanging around
steak.
and helping murder people. Did you not?
The other kind of steak.
Oh. No, I'm vegan, actually.
Oh, that's fair. What's this? Now that sounds interesting. What do you mean?
It's simple. Battler got a shot off at us in the last game. So if Erika does the same in this game, we're only even.
Wasn't the last game a tie?
We failed to win a game that should have been a shoo-in, right? If that isn't a loss, I don't know what is. Right, Erika?
Yes, my master. If I hadn't failed so miserably, we would have won that game easily.
Oh, I get it. So this time you'll intentionally fight at a disadvantage by not making a detective proclamation and win despite that. You're scheming to not only wipe out your loss from the previous game, but to totally flip the score upside down, right? You intend to participate in the game Battler-san poured his heart and soul into? With a foolish handicap like that? That is not only presumptuous, it's quite rude.
Well, you got a point there. Sounds more like an excuse just in case they lose.
True, you could also look at it that way. If they win, it's a great victory, but if they lose, Erika's side has a nice little excuse. Isn't that a bit unsporting?
Don't worry. This bet is balanced on both sides. If the game's won by a human without the detective proclamation, it'll be impossible for Battler and the others to pick up the pieces of the illusion of the witch. But on the other hand, if Erika loses, that detective trash will be sent into the depths of oblivion along with the worst possible fragment.
Is it hot in here or is it a little stuffy? Could we maybe turn on the ethereal air conditioning unit? Just run away. Could you maybe an iced tea or something? It's just okay. Just me.
See, that's balanced, isn't it? An ultimate victory with a mere human, not a superhuman detective, destroying the illusion of the witch. She's putting her own destruction on the line to make that bet. I have gotten bored with these sluggish repeating games that you and the former Beato made. So we're raising the stakes and settling it all at once.
Well, that is true. If Battler makes it through this game, it'll mean that Battler has won Beato's game, and the game will end. In a sense, it's a showdown you can't escape, right?
Yeah, good thing it'll end at EP6, and there will not be an EP7 nor an EP8. My victory is all but assured. I haven't looked at the Steam page for this game yet. Well, I see your position. Are you okay with that, Erika?
Yeah, of course. In order to regain my master's trust in me, which was lost by my previous defeat, I will risk even my own destruction.
Is that of your own will?
What's wrong, Erika? Answer him, okay?
Obviously. This is my own will. I certainly will not lose. Even without the detective proclamation, I will defeat you no matter what.
Battler-san.
No, without the detective proclamation, she can absolutely be the culprit this time around.
Yup.
Well, alright, sure, that's fine. If that's what you want. I'll accept the challenge.
Thank you very much. I'll make sure you regret it.
Well, fuck you too, I guess.
After all, when Battler played for the human side, he never had anything as convenient as the detective's authority. All he was allowed to do was use the blue truth and demand that Beato repeat things he said.
Exactly. In a way, the last game was unfair. We failed to win despite that, which is why it was no different from a loss.
Can we stop talking about that? Pretty please? The pineapple one?
Well, do what you want. If you feel like making a detective proclamation, do it whenever you like. I understand that you're holding it in reserve at the moment.
As if I'd use such a thing against an opponent like you.
Just means your heart not really into it today. Do you want to, take 5 or something? Maybe get, a nice, refreshing glass of iced water. Then get started, you two. I'm already starting to get bored.
Dance for our amusement, puppets!
Leave it to me, my master. I will destroy the illusion of the witch for you without... What did you have to say about puppets? Could you repeat that?
No!
Fuck.
There's something really satisfying about saying fuck angrily in Erika voice.
Oh, yeah.
Erika voice with a really angry fuck. Oh, so good. George and Jessica had been the ones knocking on Erika's door. They were asking whether Battler and Maria had come to this room. Of course, they hadn't.
A good while ago, they went downstairs, saying they wanted to get something to drink. We thought they might have come to your room.
Of course not. Why would they? You sure they didn't go to the mansion?
We called the servant room and dining hall of the mansion, but no one picked up.
All right, well, please stay here, you two. I'm gonna go check on the mansion.
Hey, it's dangerous to go out this late.
How could a stranger sneak into the sealed-off island? Stay in that cousin room of yours. I'll contact you if anything happens. Also, tell the servants in the guest house. Servant room not to leave the building. Bye!
Wait a second, Erika-san? She's a strange kid.
Gonna look at a murder. Gonna look at a murder.
How to get rid of the Erika. Hey, look over there, a murder.
Oh, really? Wow, that's so great!
After speaking her mind and not listening to anything else, Erika had dashed down the stairs and rushed outside.
The first toilet usually starts in the morning, but looks like we got an early fight this time. No crime has occurred in the guest house, so that means the stage of tragedy is in the mansion.
Though she had an umbrella up, Erika got drenched as she sprinted. She brashly licked the raindrops that lipped down her face.
Blah.
Erika was at her most energetic.
Blah! Blah!
She never checked to make sure that there hadn't been any crimes in the guest house, by the way. She just kind of assumed that. Okay.
What if everybody else in the guest house is already dead?
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
According to her memory from the previous game, the entrance hall to the mansion would be locked after the start of the family conference. However, the lock was undone this time. Had someone unlocked it, or had the lock not been set, or had it been impossible to set the lock?
Well, no point thinking about it now. After all, that might just be a whim of the game masters.
As soon as she entered the entrance hall, the door to the parlor opened violently. Out of it flew Goto's large body.
Ah, good evening, Goto-san. Is something the matter?
Whoa, 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 whoa. That's it. Oh, police, ambulance. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa.
Are you done?
Oh, okay, now I'm done.
That expression really is a wonderfully pathetic. Just perfect for the first one to discover the crime.
Please, calm down. How can the police or an ambulance get to an isolated island inside of a typhoon? I'm sure the phones are out anyway, so please calm yourself. Ah!
Yells from Kraus and Rudolph's group could be heard from the parlor. Their shaken appearance perfectly signified the coming of the first twilight.
Well then, meet the victims, scene, and reconstruction of the situation.
What? Those who left to take a break didn't come back, so the adults went to the parlor. When they did, the door was sealed from the inside, and they couldn't open it.
So the door to the parlor was sealed from the inside. Okay. So those who left to take a break. We assume that's Natsuhi, Kyrie, right?
Ava.
Maria somehow got involved in there.
No, she didn't. She probably didn't leave for a break.
You're right. She didn't leave to take it. Maria
She was
is
there for some
presumed
other
dead, but
reason.
might not be related to this. Battler is also AWOL right now, which is interesting. I feel like Wait. Ava, Natsuhi, Kyrie, maybe Maria. I feel like we're missing two still. What are we missing? Rosa.
Yeah,
Rosa took a break, and then one unknown, whoever Battler said he killed for the game.
which we don't know yet.
What if Battler got himself killed on the board finally? It would kind of defeat the whole point, right? Because the whole point is that it's all supposed to be a message for him specifically, but...
You'll see later, but the hat stand of the parlor had been used to bar the double doors from the inside.
The hat stand? Battler did it.
Sorry, I can't resist a good old callback.
So you're trying to say the door is blocked from the inside, and the windows were also locked from the inside?
Well, that's it, yep. When they went around and looked into the parlor through the window, they saw Rosa lying on the sofa in an unnatural position, with blood pouring from her forehead. They then smashed the glass, entered the parlor, and discovered that Maria was also there, lying by the wall and covered in blood.
Got it. Yeah, that would make them yell. The other crime scenes?
The entrance wasn't locked when you came into the mansion because they went out through it to check the parlor from the outside. It had been locked before they left through it, so there was a chance that the others who had gone missing were lying elsewhere within the mansion, and the adults are now searching the entire building.
So the places the victims died match that long, crazy delusion you showed earlier?
They match. Rosa and Maria were in the parlor. Beyond that, Natsuhi was in her own room. Kyrie was in Krause's study. Ava was in the rose garden. No, wait, she was moved to the VIP room, wasn't she? Yeah. Ava's corpse was found in the VIP room.
Right, because the Gap came in and...
That makes
Who?
5 victims. Ah, this one's short for the first twilight. Who's the 6th person and where?
It's gonna be Battler. Battler's finally gonna die! Good on you, bro.
Oh! Crow-sama, the chain on this room is also set.
Cut it. The culprit might be hiding in there. Goda! Goda! Do it! Rudolph and Kraus had brought Winchesters from Kinzo's prized collection. They yelled at Goda, who was carrying the wire cutters to cut the chain. So if they got them from Kinzo's prized collection, then they probably already know that Kinzo's dead at this point. Right? Because isn't the collection kept in...
I don't recall.
I don't remember if we know...
And even if so, that doesn't necessarily mean they know Kinzo's dead.
True.
Even if they have been there, they would just know he's not there.
The victims had been found one after another at several locations inside the mansion. The men who had lost their wives searched through the mansion in a rage looking for the culprit. This was a guest room. Where the fuck is Hideyoshi during all this?
Yeah, huh?
It had previously been a room where the relatives would stay, but it hadn't been used much since the construction of the guest house. This forgotten room had been sealed from the inside by the chain.
Nah.
As soon as the chain was cut, Rudolph pushed Goda aside and flew into the room. Is there anyone there? Get out here. Nah, there's someone on the bed. Let's get some light, Aniki. When Kraus pushed a switch on the wall, the guest room lit up, and the figure lying on the bed came into view.
Huh?
Battler! Damn it, what are you doing in a place like this? Rudolph's knees crumpled and he fell over Battler's corpse. Called it!
A...
No words could console him as he cried with a mad sorrow. In a single night, he had lost both his wife and his son. During this time, Cross checked the window in the bathroom and searched the closet to find if anyone was hiding there, but found no one. Paddler, damn it! Ah!
Oh, sad.
Can't believe it, but this room is also a closed room.
What again?
Yes, my study where Kiryu-san was, Natsuhi's room, the VIP room with Ava, the parlor with Rosa and her daughter, and now Battler-kun in this guest room. They're all closed rooms, aren't they? I don't understand. It couldn't be suicide, could it? That's impossible. How could this be a suicide? Ah! Battler! I don't know what... Rudolph is the one that never had a set voice, so now it just feels weird.
Oh, there's a surprise. Think that yourself would be the sixth person.
Yeah, it's more interesting to kill yourself off every now and then.
That's it, moving briskly along.
And all of the crime scenes are closed rooms.
Does that...
Gee, I hope this doesn't awaken something in me.
well, let me know if it does, please. That would actually be rather interesting.
What does this say then about the state? Because the conclusion we drew from the game itself tried to rig attention to, for the fact that Battler was always the only one who lived to the end of every game board, was that what was happening must have been a message for Battler.
I don't think this stands against that. These are all forgeries.
Yeah, but there's forgeries that have the kernel of the truth in them, right?
Yeah, but they can have the kernel of the truth in them in different ways.
Yes.
And it can still be the case that what actually happened was a message for Battler.
I think it's significant because it means that this is probably something different. Whatever caused this was probably a slightly different impetus than what caused the other murders.
Perhaps.
Or someone else operating at cross purposes.
That could make sense. It's a murder that couldn't have been performed without magic.
Yeah, isn't seeing through that the point of this game? In other words, it must be a murder that could have been performed without magic. After all, if it really could be done only with magic, this wouldn't be a game.
It's an interesting thought. Yeah, that is the sort of game we've been playing, isn't it?
This game is fair. The goal is to explain without magic the strange crimes that are claimed to be caused with magic. If that couldn't be done, it wouldn't be a game. In other words, as Erika had said, they must be murders that could have been performed without magic. To turn it around, the witch's side had a certain responsibility. They had to make a crime that could be reproduced with tricks and not magic. Unless the human side could see through to those tricks, the witch side could use all kinds of magic and illusions. In other words, in order to carry out a closed-room murder with magic, it was necessary to create a crime that would be possible by human hands. Yeah, and that's been our operating philosophy for a while now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now I understand. I see why when I ordered the 7 sisters to kill my classmates back at St. Lucia's, they couldn't do what I told them. And I understand the meaning of Mammon's words.
Magic can only do what you can accomplish by your own hands. Is that it?
At that time, if I had possessed the determination to kill my classmates... No, that's not it. At that time, if I had been capable of killing my classmates, capable of pulling it off, then the 7 Sisters of Purgatory would probably have pulled it off for me. They could only accomplish what I could do myself. No, that's not it either. They could take what I had accomplished and turn it into magic.
Yeah, and that's been our understanding for a little while as well.
However, because there had been a great number of witnesses in that classroom, it would probably have been impossible. It would have been burned by that anti-magic toxin Maria One-chan and the others always talk about. However, if I had called those classmates out somewhere without witnesses, and if I had succeeded in murder, at that point the 7 Sisters of Purgatory would be capable of carrying out a magical murder. Even with magic, witches cannot do things that they cannot accomplish by themselves. They can only adorn things they're capable of doing with magic.
Interesting. And that is because those who accomplish something without using magic later claim that magic was used and call themselves witches. This Erika person has understood that since the very beginning. That is why she will never surrender to witches. She is confident that it must be explainable with tricks. The old battler was toyed with so frequently because he did not possess that conviction.
Once you see through that rule, the witch loses any chance at victory. That's why they have to make their opponents surrender before they see the truth of that rule. The longer the match is drawn out and the more hints are given, the greater the witch's overwhelming disadvantage becomes. Once again, this reasoning keeps spinning around in circles. Why did Beato let this game get drawn out until she lost?
How are you holding up, by the way? Would you like a tea or something to snack on? It has been several hours and you have been reading this book for that entire time.
Do you have anything that's not popcorn? I feel like I've lived a mono popcorn diet for like 2 weeks now.
No. What do you mean by not popcorn?
I see.
Oh, wait, hold on. We have concession food. I could get you a box of Junior Mints. They are overpriced, but still tasty. Many victims had been found, and the mansion was still wrapped in chaos. Hideyoshi's group seemed to have gone to the guest house, worrying about the safety of the kids there. Okay, so that's where Hideyoshi went. Hideyoshi's group. So who's unaccounted for right now? We don't know where Genji is. We don't know where Kumasawa is.
Shannon Cannon.
Yep. Presumably Shannon Cannon is still in the guest house. That's where we last saw them.
Nanjo.
Nanjo, we don't know. Yep. Kraus and Rudolph's group was in the hall, talking about what should be done next. During a short gap in this chaos, Erika dashed all about the mansion. She was checking the crime scenes. Normally, with the detective's authority, Erika had the right to openly investigate the crime scenes to her heart's content. However, this time she hadn't yet made use of that authority. She was a guest and an outsider, so there was little to no chance that she would be allowed to investigate. So she was forced to quickly check all of the crime scenes now while she could still run about as she pleased. In the servant room there had been a clear folder containing a sketch of the mansion's interior. Because she had borrowed that, she knew the locations of all the rooms. Clear folder of sketch of the mansion's interior. Interesting. That's a cool little detail.
Yeah.
So that means in the servant room there exists a drawing of the mansion's entire interior that shows all the rooms. And it's something that one of the servants probably would have done or would have known about.
Yeah.
I wonder if that also has something like, if there were any hidden passages or doors that people wouldn't know about. Erika skillfully made her way through the mansion, dashing to each crime scene in turn. Lady Erika, I believe you know, but allow me to warn you just in case.
Yeah, what is it?
It is true that you have an incredible photographic
Memory.
Lady Erika. That, combined with the detective proclamation, is what made it possible for you to avoid being deceived by
Anything.
Yeah, I get it. Since no detective proclamation has been made about me, even my photographic memory doesn't count as foolproof evidence. Of course I understand that. Still, doesn't mean I can afford to miss viewing the crime scenes directly. After all, in the last game, my pride in that regard led me to a truly miserable failure.
For example, by this argument, no matter how well you examine a person's corpse, you could not even guarantee that they were not faking their death with absolute
certainty.
Most probably, features of this situation must be individually confirmed by telling Battler to repeat them in
Red.
Yeah, and I'll need to use the Bluetooth liberally in order to make him. I understand. Let's start with the basics. Lack of the detective's authority is no handicap. Simply means that I'm fighting under the same conditions Battler once was. Yeah. This fight is retracing the old days when Battler and Beato fought so fiercely. I have nothing as convenient as the detective's authority. I just have to truly fight the same way the old Battler fought. Thinking of it this way, maybe it's true that I was given quite a favorable, unfair position in the last game, just as my master said. Maybe it's difficult without the detective's authority, which is also my pride and honor as a detective. But I won't let that be a handicap. I know what magic is, and I'm fully aware of how to fight with the red and blue truths. I know the way to fight in this game many times better than the old Battler did. I quickly visited the VIP room, Krause's study, and Natsuhi's room on the second floor, as well as the parlor and the guest room on the first floor. This time, checking with my own eyes, as I failed to do in the last game.
VIP room, yep. Krause's study, yep. Natsuhi's room, yep. That's what we all expect. Let's done checking with that. Yep.
First off, all the scenes were made to look like closed rooms. Probably of special note was the fact that the master keys could have had nothing to do with the trick. The closed rooms were all made without relying on any elements that could be locked or unlocked from the outside by a master key or something else. Windows were locked from the inside, and the doors were all locked and chained.
Interesting. So there are chains on all of those doors as well. There's a chain on Natsuhi's room. There's a chain on Krause's study.
Yeah,
Should we assume that there are chains on most of the rooms in the game?
maybe.
The master key could get around all the locks in the doors, but not the window locks or the chain locks. I hadn't yet Battler confirmed that it's impossible to manipulate those from outside, but I'm sure you'll be able to say it in red. It'd be stupid otherwise. I understand. Right now, I am a mere human. I can't even properly confirm the death of the corpses. Last time I neglected to check the corpses and let a massive bit of magic get by me. It won't feel like that again. If I did, I wouldn't be able to face the master I am so indebted to.
We have checked all of the scenes and finished gathering
Information.
Here is our
Report.
God,
first. All of the rooms were closed by room. Sorry, this is so hard to do while switching back and forth very
Quickly.
First of all of the rooms were closed rooms formed by the window locks and chain locks and the like, so that interference from the outside would be
Difficult.
The only exception is the parlor, where Rosa and Maria lay.
Dead.
Please allow me to speak. Let it be known that the door was barred with a hat stand.
Call back.
It is thought to be substantially the same as a chain lock, in that it can only be set from the inside.
It is probably their goal to construct closed rooms where explanations using master keys are made completely
Ineffective.
The parlor has no chain lock due to its very nature, so it is natural that something else would be used in the chain's
Place.
in that case, the interesting question becomes, why one of the other rooms with chain locks wasn't chosen to be a closed room? There are several guest rooms other than the one Battler they did in, all with similar layouts, correct?
Yes, that is
Correct.
In that case, even though it should have been more beautiful to throw them in there, so that everyone can be inside the chain-locked closed room, they did not. That's in the door bar, and the parlor seems very suspicious. I should probably pursue this one demanding red truths. Also, we have corpses, but they're the same absolute deaths with their necks sliced open like in the last game, which could be confirmed to you without the detective's authority.
Of course, she had checked all of the corpses in all of the crime scenes this time. However, without the detective's authority, she had no guarantee that she would be able to see through any faked deaths with certainty. The old battler had also started fighting by doubting whether the victims were truly dead. It was the same for Erika.
Please allow me to speak. Know that there were no corpses that could have been confirmed dead with certainty by physical means. Please allow me to speak. We cannot deny the possibility that any one of these corpses might be a faked death.
Well, I doubt a battler is to confirm their deaths in red even if I tell him to.
I liked Beato's chain of 6 closed rooms better. However, these closed rooms are even more complete, considering that master keys don't help you at all.
There are 2 general ways of breaking closed rooms that Battler might be after. An illusion of a closed room or an illusion of a crime. It'll be one of those.
I get the first one. That's when something looks like a closed room, but it actually isn't, right? What do you mean by an illusion of a crime?
An illusion that makes it seem as though a crime has occurred. In other words, are they really dead?
Well, that's dumb if the people inside are alive. Handling any kind of closed room is like pissing in a toilet.
You mean normal?
What?
What?
Still with this What's the shower for?
Hold on, my head's racing a mile a minute right now. All the possibilities. Beato, did you know this was possible this entire time? Is this the truth you wanted me to realize?
Which is only pee in the shower. Oh no. Still, with this closed room, it's pretty hard to think of any other answer.
What about the endless possibilities of manipulating the chain lock from the outside? We don't know if there are secret doors, ways to kill from a distance, chances of suicide, or even whether these are complete closed rooms in the first place.
I already know since I'm looking at Battler's game board from the underside.
Hey, get out! Out from under there! Shoo! Shoo! Bed! Bed, Lambda! Bed!
No. But these are perfect closed rooms. They can only be constructed from the inside, and there exists no method by which to construct, deconstruct, or interfere with them from the outside.
Can you say that in red?
That'd be a little too rude to Battlers, so nope. If you do love me, you must see my words as red truth already, right?
Then the closed rooms are perfect. In other words, this is an illusion of a crime.
It does seem that way. If so, these are all trick closed rooms. Doesn't this mean that everyone got so pissed about Erika bragging about detectives and stuff that they joined together and set up a fake murder to make fun of her? Oh, is that the right answer? I'm like a super detective.
Nipa. Ugh. Unfortunately, this isn't a fake. The victims really have been killed.
Huh? And you don't mean by 2400 on the second day, right?
No detective proclamation has been made, but she's very accurate when examining corpses. She's good enough that I could give her examinations the red truth.
So, does that mean that they were definitely dead when Erika examined their corpses?
Yeah, that's right. Totally.
But she won't say it in red for her, right? And that poor Erika must want it so bad.
Well, she isn't even the detective this time around. I won't give her any red.
Still, that makes it incredible.
Interesting thought. That means they didn't necessarily have to be dead when they opened the rooms.
Yeah. This time, Battlers really made a perfect closed room.
Oh yeah, I believe you're right.
Will Erika be okay? It looks like an ordinary closed room murder at a glance, but this one's pretty nasty. Won't this load be a bit too heavy for Erika without her detective's authority?
She is a self-proclaimed detective. I'm sure she'll pull through. If Battler and Beato are defeated by a mere human who isn't even a detective, they fall apart in the most exquisite way, don't you think?
And even if Erika loses, you get to play by throwing her into the worst fragment and knocking her into the depths of oblivion?
How'd you know I loved Elder Scrolls? Exactly. No matter how it turns out, it won't be boring.
You really are heartless, aren't you? Well, wringing out this black cat like a towel and licking up every last drop is bliss to me.
What? No, I'm with Battler on this one. What? Could you just, either not or explain yourself? One of the two.
No.
Beato's game board did entertain me for quite some time, but we've already wrung everything we can from it. It'll be over with this game. So in the end, we really must let Battler and Erika bet everything on one final face-off.
And I wanted to play with you forever in this game. What a shame.
Come now. I spent plenty of time with you already. Go find me another interesting game. If you do, I'll play with you again.
Yes, you really don't let me get bored. That's okay, Burncastle. Seeing your face twist with anguish is the one forbidden honey I've found for myself.
It's a weird way of saying you want to play Mario Kart.
Yeah, wanna go?
Lambda Delta had guaranteed that it was a perfect closed room. Burncastle had guaranteed that it was a perfect murder. A perfect closed room and murder. The witches hated Killjoy, so they haven't said anything with the red truth yet. Pursuing that was the role for Battler and Erika.
I find a perfect closed room and a perfect murder, but no one said a perfect closed room murder.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing there.
Looks like you trampled over all the crime scenes by now. Satisfied? Is your inspection complete?
Yeah, I'm satisfied. So about our war of red and blue. Shall we start right away? Or do it all at the end?
I don't like putting things off. I think the same goes for you.
Then let's get started with the closed rooms of the first twilight.
That's why Battler has red hair. And she's got the blue hair.
Haha!
It's been there in our faces all along.
Haha!
It's been right there from the very beginning.
First, I'd like to check. Do you intend to respond if I ask you to repeat something in red?
Well, depending on what you say, yes. I have no obligation to respond to everything, and I won't reveal my reasons when I refuse.
Good. Then let's start simple and confirm the definition of a closed room. Delanor, please read it aloud.
Understood.
We demand that the following be
Repeated.
Delanor spread out one of these scrolls that some official would always spread out when announcing the king in Western fairy tales, and read it aloud. First, the rooms with the 6 people in them are all closed
Rooms.
Acknowledged. Of course, that's only until Goda and the others severed the chains and destroyed the closed rooms. At a nod from Delanor, Cornelia, who stood behind her, started taking notes. Second, the definition of a closed room implies that it is impossible to construct from the
Outside.
Acknowledged.
In other words, no trickery done from the outside can construct a closed room. It is not permitted for a chain lock to be reset from the outside by a cleverly used wire, for example.
All right.
I didn't need you to tell me that. Delanor, please continue.
Third, the definition of a closed room implies that all forms of interference that pass between the inside and the outside of the room are
Prevented.
acknowledged. However, I won't deny the kinds of interference that you'd expect from a normal room, such as knocks, voices, and the extension telephone line. Fourth, at the time of the deconstruction of the closed rooms, none existed within the rooms except the
Victims.
parenthesis, Natsuhi, Ava, Kyrie, Rosa, Maria, Battler, close parenthesis. Acknowledged.
Interesting.
In this way, they could confirm whether or not the culprit had been hiding inside a closed room. The culprit had slipped out of the room after the discoverers had noticed the murders and then walked away. It would have been possible to construct an illusion of a closed room, because Battler had acknowledged their statement with the red truth. The possibility that the culprit and the victim had both been inside the closed room at the time of the crime, the culprit had hidden under the bed and snuck out after the discovery of the crime, had been denied. Okay, theory.
Yeah?
What if something happened to create a schism within the Ushiromiya family? The 4 of them go off and run and hide and defend themselves because the rest of the family are now coming to kill them. They hole up in a room and lock themselves in because it's the only thing they can think to do. Those locks get broken, breaking the closed room. They die by being murdered. And that's all Erika sees after the fact, is the fact that the room was closed. It was a perfect closed room, and that now there's a body there. Fifth, no murder was committed after the deconstruction of the closed
Rooms.
I refuse.
Haha! I love that it got brought up instantly after you had the thought.
Yeah, because, I mean, this
So
is...
in at least one case. I feel like it'd be weird if it was all of them.
Yeah.
But we've got the option open.
Why? Because the victims were really alive after the closed rooms were destroyed. So Klaus and the others who barged in were the culprits and committed the murders then. In other words, they were post-closed room murders. Is that why you refuse?
Peace.
Change the world. My final message.
Change the world. My final message. Peace out.
Not at all. The murders will continue to occur. So we cannot say in red that no murders will happen after this.
Yeah, what twisted logic? You probably see what we're getting at. Krause's group got the chain and destroyed the closed rooms, then killed the people inside. I just want you to counter this.
Lady Erika, it is insufficient to refer to Krause's group an unspecified number of
People.
You should first determine which humans entered the room after the closed room was
Deconstructed.
Allow me to speak. Excepting the victims, those who entered the closed rooms were Krause, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda. So all the hubbies and Goda.
Right, but Hideyoshi was off to the guest house.
Yeah, but he apparently did see and enter them. Allow me to speak. This is based on spoken testimony. Note that there is no proof that others did not enter.
Yeah, I know that already. Let's have you repeat that. After the deconstruction of the closed rooms, then excluding me, only Krause, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda entered the rooms.
Sure, acknowledged. However, this only applies to the current point in time. It's possible that some later development in the game will cause more people to enter.
Repeat it. Krause, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda are not culprits.
Battler put his finger on his chin, deep in thought.
This word culprit was fairly broad, and it might serve to greatly restrict the darkness of the witch.
Why not answer? If we refuse, their blue truth naming Kraus and the others as the culprits will remain.
Sure, I'll acknowledge it, but I'll make the language more strict. Kraus, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda were not involved in the murders of Natsuhi, Eva, Kyrie, Rosa, Maria, and Battler.
And that means it was also impossible for any of the other humans who didn't even enter the closed room to have been involved with the murder, doesn't it?
Or any of the other humans who didn't even enter the closed room.
Wait. Scroll up. What did we hear about who entered the closed room? So before the one before this.
Before this one?
Okay. Excluding me, only Kraus, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda.
Okay.
Okay.
After the deconstruction of the closed rooms, then excluding me, only Kraus, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda entered the rooms.
Ooh. Kraus, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda are not culprits, but it doesn't say that Erika isn't.
Yep.
And Erika's been in there.
So then what fucking happens to make So then what happens to make Battler show this?
I don't know.
Fucking hell, is Erika the murderer? That could be it. Yeah. That seems to be the easy way.
She does go on. She is the one who starts the whole fucking tangent about love, revenge, and shit, too.
True. Okay.
If you think you can build up some blue truth for how a closed room murder can be committed without entering the room, then I'll respond with the red truth. However, I only need to destroy one of the blue truths you'll be presenting from here on out. In other words, even if you do manage to use the blue truth and explain this away with some long-distance closed room murder trick X, I don't necessarily have to counter that with the red truth.
These are the rules of the witch's game. Angie had confirmed these details with Beato in the fourth game. The witch's side lays out the riddle after riddle that it claims are impossible to carry out except by magic. The human side must use the blue truth to argue that they are explainable with tricks. And if they fail to make a counter-argument with the blue truth for even one of the riddles, that riddle will be considered to have been done by magic, and it will be impossible to deny the existence of the witch. In other words, the witch side only needs to protect any one of its riddles. However, the human side has to fully explain all of the riddles with the blue truth. And even if the human side manages to explain all the riddles with the blue truth, if any one of those is successfully countered by the red, the witch will win. That was why, like the strategy the old Beato had adopted at the end, it was sufficient for the witch side to put off the red text counter-arguments until the very last moment, then make a single strike at their opponent's most fragile spot.
In any event, you refuse to repeat the last one, right?
Oh, don't get the wrong idea. I don't give out red for free.
Yeah.
From the witch's side perspective, repeating statements made by the human side is just a supplement to make sure they haven't misunderstood the question. Therefore, they had no obligation to respond to extremely broad demands.
Not bad. Looks like you can handle being a player on the witch side pretty well, too.
Your experience is no match for mine.
Shh! Lanor!
Let us
Continue.
Next, the victims did not die by any method other than
Homicide.
acknowledged.
Okay.
Fucking-knowledged.
Of course. There were no suicides or accidental deaths.
Ooh, hold on. Banger alert.
Yeah?
Comment section, you know what to do.
Seventh, the victims.
That's enough, Lanor.
Are you sure? There are still
Items.
Yeah, that'll do fine. I've confirmed the status of the crime scene. Meanwhile, it's time for me to argue back with the blue truth.
Sure, fine. Let me hear your masterful theories. You.
Meow.
Beato just sitting there. Hot. Though Battler and Erika were enemies, it looked to Beato as though they were having a little fun doing this. She was probably slightly jealous of Erika. Beato thought back on the book she had read in Featherine's library, in which the old her and Battler had fought. That must have been fun as well. During a short break in the family conference, a horrible, brutal mass murder had occurred. The 6 people killed, excluding Battler, had all been women. The remaining men went mad with rage at this cowardice, then broke down sobbing at the sadness of losing their wives over and over again.
Why were they all women?
Hey!
They were all women. 6 people died. Who was the 6th? Battler. Excluding Battler.
Trans Battler
They
theory?
just said that and I wasn't paying attention. Okay.
Yeah,
I just found it really funny when it cuts to why were they all women?
Right? And then it's like, okay. I guess Hideyoshi might be speaking casually here.
Yeah. Why were they all women? How cowardly can a person be?
What's wrong with us? Here we are under the same roof and we're just smoking away, not noticing that members of our own family are getting killed? Damn it! But who and how? They were not unguarded. The chain was set for all of them. Who gives a damn about that? I don't care how they were killed, I just want to know who did it.
Hey, Genji-san, Goda-san, were the doors and windows to the mansion all locked during the family conference?
Oh, yeah. There can be no doubt.
In accordance with Madam's instructions, everything is always locked at the time of the night patrol. Tonight was a special case, so everything was locked up right after seeing the children off to the guest house. How is that possible? I mean, Battle and Maria-chan were inside the mansion, right? They shouldn't have been able to get in, right?
If everything really was locked up properly, that couldn't have happened. Doesn't that prove that the building wasn't completely locked up? Well?
He was arguing that Goda's failure to lock up properly might have allowed a stranger to sneak in. At the very least, none of them had known that Battler and Maria had visited the mansion. If those two had come and found everything locked tight, they wouldn't have been able to get inside. If they had rung the doorbell, Goda would probably have heard them from the servant room, but Goda said that nothing of the sort had happened. How they had entered the locked mansion was a complete mystery.
Oh, this is merely an idea, but... For example, what if some madam or someone happened to be near the entrance? Notice Battler saw about Maria someone knocking on the door, ringing the bell, and let them in.
That couldn't have happened. You were in the servant room then, right, Goda-san? Isn't there a chime in the servant room that goes off when the front door opens? There's no way you would have missed anyone.
Well...
At that time. That's an interesting thing. There's a chime... So they know whenever someone... If you're in the servant room, you'll know whenever that front door is opened. Cool. At the time, Goda was serving drinks as you requested, so he was not in the servant room. Why was there only one servant in the mansion on such an important day? Why was someone as important as Genji-san on duty in the guest house? Does that make any sense? Where's the servant room left empty? My wife formed those shifts. She probably hoped that Goda would be kind enough to serve some fashionable drinks throughout the family conference as well.
Krausny-san, this is the family conference, right? The most important day of the year, right? Why was Goda-san left as the only person on shift in the mansion? If there had been just one more person, everything would be different, wouldn't it? Right?
With a half-crying, half-enraged, jumbled-up expression, Hideyoshi yelled at Goda. Of course, the culprit who killed everyone was the most to blame and the most despicable. However, even if he understood that, he needed to let off some of his emotions by hating someone he could see.
I am fully aware of how everyone feels. However, please calm down. Either Goda-san wasn't thorough with locking up, or someone let Battler and Maria-san in after they came back from the guest house, and then forgot to lock up afterwards.
Or they went in through not the front door.
However, that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with how the culprit snuck in. After all, the mansion is massive. He might have come in much earlier and hid until late at night for all we know. I can understand you might want to suspect certain people, but please calm down.
No, our guest is right. The culprit is the one we should hate, not the servant who just happened to be on duty. At any rate, let's calm down. I feel as terrible as the rest of you. However, we must take initiative now and regain our composure. Anaki, everyone feels just as sad and devastated, and none of us will ever forgive the one who did this. For that reason, we must regain our composure.
He's right. I still have George. Krausny-san still has Jessica-chan. And Rudolph-kun, you still have Angie-chan waiting for you to return, right? It's still too soon to start pointing fingers.
Culprit is still on this island. We can't be sure that this tragic crime is over. We need to stay calm and prevent any further tragedies.
Erika's words softly consoled them and gently admonished them.
Listen to the soothing sound of my voice.
If the servant had said the same thing, Rudolph would have probably have jumped on him. However, since it had come from the lips of the guest and neutral party, it seemed to reach their ears.
Let's stay cool. We have 3 grown men with us, and guns as well. Yes, I was making a burn at you, Genji and Goda. Judging by the pattern of the murders, the chances of the culprit having a gun are low. In other words, as long as we keep our heads, the culprit no longer has any way to touch us.
She's right. We can't let the culprit do as they please any longer on our island.
Let's find the culprit. We're in the middle of a typhoon. They can't escape from the island, and there's only so many places they can take shelter from the rain in.
This island is larger than you think. Unfortunately, it'd be difficult to search the island with this many people. For all, if you found the culprit, you might shoot them to death on the spot as you are now. The freaking culprit has to run deep into the forest. You won't find them easily.
Right. We should just wait for the typhoon to pass. Have the boat call the police for us and let them thoroughly search the island. The police are incredible. They'll bring hundreds of people and pick through it with a fine-tooth comb because we're rich. That forest may be deep, but they'll definitely smoke the culprit out.
Yeah, that was the unspoken part. That was the unspoken assumption here is that you're all filthy rich.
Nah, the most important thing now is to make sure no more of our beloved family members are taken from us. Rudolph, if something happens to you, what'll happen to Angie-chan back home?
Kyrie, Battler, damn it. Damn it! Never had a chance to tell you the truth.
Wow-san. I'm sure that everyone in the cousin room is extremely agitated right now. You show them that you've regained your composure. I'm sure that'll help them relax a lot. Would you mind heading up there?
Good point.
He's gonna head up there and finds Jessica and George dead.
Yep.
We have to talk with everyone about what we're going to do next.
Please go with him, Genji-san, Goda-san. I'm sure that Shannon-san, Kanon-san, and Kumasawa-san are all very agitated.
So Kumasawa's up in here too, okay.
Oh, right. I totally forgot she existed for a bit there.
Right? That's how this game works. It has just enough people that you constantly forget at least one of them exists. I swear that's intentional.
Yeah, that's the trick. As long as you keep on bamboozling the reader by introducing more characters left and right, you keep them on their toes.
Sir, everyone is quite agitated.
Are you certain? Is there anything else we can help with?
That's why I want you to go with the Crow-san. I want you there to help him if something happens. I'd like the rest of us to check and see that everything's locked up here. We'll head up soon, so please go on ahead.
Understood. If you need anything, please call us. Genji bowed and Kraus nodded. Kraus also nodded to Erika, then headed up to the second floor with Genji and Goda. In times of confusion, when only men are around, it is easy for a composed member of the opposite sex to take the initiative. Even without the detective's authority, she was able to control them quite naturally. Erika had wanted to get rid of the servants for the time being.
Okay. In that case, let's go to checking the locks.
Our problem's gonna be the big window in the lounge. It looks like it doesn't even have shutters. If they smash this, we won't be able to stop them from coming in.
Don't worry, the sound of the glass smashing will be more than enough warning. We'll turn them into Swiss fucking cheese.
Quiet, please. Have you staying down here to check the doors and windows? Please listen calmly to what I'm about to say.
When Erika lowered her voice, Rudolph and Hideyoshi realized that she wanted to talk about something secret. So they brought their ears closer as soon as they regained their composure.
Listen up. This crime happened during a short break in the family conference. In that tiny span of time, 6 people were killed without anyone noticing. I can't imagine a crime improvised on the spot going so smoothly. This crime was committed by someone who knew the layout of the mansion well, inside and out.
Perhaps someone who has viewed a map of it recently.
Yep. Well. And if she goes on to kill pretty much everyone else involved, then she can go on to spin the narrative of this scene as however she wants.
Mm-hmm.
She could say like, yeah, I brought them down here and talked to them about this, sure. And then Battler could present that. I'm all aboard Erika culprit theory.
Well, if they didn't know the inside well, but
A short while ago, they had attacked Goda, suspecting the servants of making a blunder. However, they only thought that he'd forgotten to lock up and were attacking him for letting the mysterious culprit sneak in. They hadn't considered that one of the servants they knew so well might have taken those lives with their own hands. They hadn't wanted to think that. People can't easily suspect someone they know well of being a culprit.
The time of the crime, the mansion was locked from the inside, and only those involved with the family conference existed there.
So Aniki killed Kiria and the others? Or am I supposed to suspect Hideyoshi Nissan? It's impossible. It's unthinkable.
I never even considered suspecting Kraus Nissan or Rudolph-kun. All the siblings had excellent relationships with their spouses. True, the Ushiromiya family may be strict with discipline and money, but that don't mean we treasure our own families less than anyone else.
Yeah, of course I believe that. Wouldn't dream if any of you would kill your own wives.
Erika had already received the red truth proof from Battler that they were not the murderers, so there was no need to argue that point. Kraus, Rudolph, and Hideyoshi, and Goda. None of the four was the killer. What about Genji?
Could be Genji.
Genji seemed to have come in later. He didn't seem to be part of the original party. And yet Erika said this.
However, what about Kudo-san? He was in the waiting room the whole time during the family conference, in a position from which he could do anything without anyone knowing.
Isn't it a little early to suspect Goda-san? Goda-san came to bring us drinks in the dining hall during the break.
Oh my god, and now she's trying to sow discord?
Mmm.
Oh my god. She really is the murderer!
Hell yeah, hell yeah. He was with us for quite some time.
Okay, guessing at one of the points late in the chapter, she's gonna try to invoke detective's authority to save her own ass. And
it won't work.
And it won't work as bad as like, sorry, you can't be the detective this game.
Because you're the culprit. He couldn't have had time to kill 6 people.
However, he might have been able to let the actual killer into the mansion.
Precisely. Kudo-san probably didn't kill them himself. Or it's very possible that he secretly welcomed the actual murderer into the mansion.
Rudolph and Hideyoshi, stunned, looked at each other. They were family. Even a wife of the siblings would be considered family. If the siblings hated each other, it wasn't possible that they'd hate each other's wives enough to kill them. Ava and Rosa were 2 of the siblings, but none of the others could have had any reason to kill Natsuhi, Kiria, Battler, or the young Maria. But to a servant like Goda, perhaps they were all little more than complete strangers.
I suspect the servants on 2 points. First, the victims are familiar with them, and there were no signs of fight in any of the crime scenes. I think you know well that there was no disturbance of any of those places.
I was thinking that too. Figured Kiria was used to enough fights that she wouldn't get killed that easily without resisting. That woman wouldn't hesitate to bite her finger off. Doesn't make more sense the culprit was someone she knew who suddenly attacked when her guard was down.
Come to think of it, the same goes for my Ava. She knows a dozen kinds of martial arts. She spends every day practically wishing for some ruffian to attack her. She wouldn't have been killed off so easily.
That's one theory. The other theory is someone that they didn't feel threatened by. Right? It didn't have to be necessarily someone they know, just someone they didn't feel threatened by.
The one about Rosa-san in the parlor. Think she'd be easily killed by a stranger without resisting while she had her only daughter with her? It still has something else that's important.
Something important.
Culprit isn't just one person, right?
You're right. Both Rosa-san and Maria-chan were in the parlor.
You know, we don't have Kanone and Shannon's whereabouts right now.
We don't. If they hadn't both been killed at the same time, there would have been an uproar. Since the culprit was able to do that, there can't be just one of them.
When it comes to Maria-chan, Rosa was like a quick-to-anger mama bear. She wouldn't cower in fear even if someone pointed a gun at her. I see, so it had to be someone who wouldn't arouse Rosa's suspicion until the last second.
Now we see the idea of an unknown outsider sneaking onto the island is actually the less realistic option. Culprit is someone familiar with this island. Definitely. Definitely that one. Don't think about the alternative. There's more than one.
Culprit is someone familiar, and there's more than one. Erika's reasoning pointed clearly at the ones they should suspect and guard themselves against.
So you suspect the servants?
Yeah. Under the current circumstances, they are the most suspicious. Second reason to suspect them is the closed rooms with the chain locks.
Why do the chain locks make them look suspicious?
What if there was no chain lock on the closed rooms?
Then they wouldn't be closed rooms. With a single master key, anyone could make them.
I see.
Servants had to seal them with the chain so they wouldn't be suspected.
Exactly. By setting the chain, they don't have to worry about being suspected. Turn around, if the chains weren't set, they wouldn't be able to avoid suspicion since they hold the master keys.
So, the only ones with something to gain from setting the chains are the servants.
I'm not trying to protect them or anything, but if so, how do they actually set the chains? Is it possible to set them from the outside?
Considering how they're built, I don't think it'd be impossible. Have you heard this story? Apparently some mailmen who deliver to apartment mailboxes are known to carry loops of wire with them.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Apartment mailboxes often have similar adjoining box around them for the nearby room numbers. I hear they'd sometimes accidentally deliver letters to the next room over if they weren't careful.
Mailboxes are almost always locked. You put the mail to the wrong one, you have no way of getting it out.
In that situation, they're supposed to tell the owner of that mailbox about their mistake. That person unlock the mailbox for them and retrieve the improperly delivered mail. However, the resident of that apartment would often be out, and going through that process would be a real pain. After that, some mailmen would make a little tool out of wire with a loop at the end, and use that to fish the mistakenly placed postcard out through the crack of the mailbox. I heard something similar from a friend of mine at a building management company. Seems they'd sometimes get drunks who locked themselves in the bathroom and fell asleep. To get them out of there, they'd stick a thin metal tool through the crack in the door and undo the latch.
Exactly. All industries have little tools that can easily open things that normally can't be opened. It wouldn't be particularly surprising if the servants of the mansion had something of the sort.
Good point.
Once you figured out the knack of it, you probably could set the chain from the outside by using a wire. Yeah, I can't be sure that's impossible. True, physically speaking, one couldn't say for sure that there existed absolutely no way to set and unset chain locks from the outside. Chain locks allow for the door to be opened to crack. If you stuck something through at that crack, you should be able to manage it easily. It was very natural for them to think that. However, Erika knew better. Though it may be possible in reality, the Red Truth had already declared that those closed rooms could not have been constructed from the outside. In other words, it was impossible to manipulate the chain lock from the outside. And yet, Erika was guiding their thoughts with the illusion that only the servants could have constructed the closed rooms. With an air of solemnly revealing some crucial point, she steadily steered the situation in the direction she wanted. Every part of her serious face for the last few minutes had been an act. No, to put it in her words, it was a detective technique for tricking suspects.
I plan to tell Kraus someone I told you. I'm not saying that all the culprits are servants are culprits. However, it's likely that one of them is a culprit or has been assisting the culprit. We should split them apart, and people with guns keep an eye on them.
Rudolph and Hideyoshi looked at each other again. What she was saying made sense, and it sounded as though she was calmly smoking out the most suspicious people at this point in time. With her accomplished conversation techniques, Erika was cleverly grasping the initiative. Even without the detective's authority, it's possible to control human nature to this degree.
What do you think, everyone? Let me do more of this story, fuckos. Everyone wants more of the rat. Light it up in the comment section. Tell everyone how much you want to see the rat. If I go down there and there are 50 comments all saying that you want to see more of the rat, I will riot.
Hey, Erika, what's a comment section?
Smash that like, comment and subscribe.